Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Codewars, Kata challenges, problems, and solutions. So today we're looking at a problem called human-readable time. So let me just read through the problem and we'll go over the solution. So write a function which takes a non-negative integer seconds as input and returns the time in a human readable format. So this is the format. This represents hours padded to 2 digits. The range is this. This represents minutes padded to 2 digits, and the range is this. And this represents seconds padded to 2 digits, and the range is this. So the maximum time is this. So this maximum time is the boundary for this cell here, because 100 hours represents I think 360,000. So this is just 1 second less than that, so it wants it to be less than that 100. It wants to just stop at this. And likewise, this is the representation for 1 minute 59 minutes, which is 1 minute less than the number of minutes for an hour. Similarly here, 59 seconds, 1 second less than the number of seconds for a minute, which is 60 seconds. So that's basically the structure. So I'm feeling a bit jaded, so I will just I'll just go over my solution. I'm not really going to type it today, so I'll just go over it and you see how exactly I went about solving this. So this is my solution. The function is called human readable, and the parameter argument being passed is seconds. So the first thing I tried to do here, these default strings that I numbered like this, I tried to create a string whereby that I can use to fit in the return that what is meant to be returned, such that it will fulfill exactly what I need to pass in each scenario. Like for instance, this is the string I'll use for this scenario where the timing is less than 60 seconds and everything here is, there will be nothing here since it's less than that. And this is the timing where is less than 60 minutes, but when there's no remainder. So all I'll have to modify is this. Now this is the timing where it's less than 3600 seconds, which is representation for 60 minutes, but it also has a remainder, so I'll have to modify this too. And this is the scenario for where it comes to the top cell and then has a remainder here, and then also has something to input here, I guess. And this is the time, the representation for when it has one here but there's no remainder. So basically I just structured it in this way so that at every moment in time I could just modify what I need to modify without having to change the rest. So that was just my thought process there. So these are the variables that I use for what I want to input in this cell, as key case may be. This is smart.flow. This is an object. This is the method, and what it just does is to make the division here to be without the remainder. So that's why I imputed it, because if you check the structure, it's meant to be just 2 digits, so we don't need the whole decimal point after and all of that. We just need you just need it in 2 digits. That's what my thought process here. So this is seconds modulo 60. So basically I wanted to get the remainder. That is what would divide in the cases where I want to pass something to the second cell. So that was my thought process there, but not specifically for this one. This is for the first cell in cases where it gets to the first cell, divided by 3600 like that. The remainder, this is what the one I was referring to for this. And like that that was just how I structured this. So this test1 variable is basically what I used in cases where I need to replace. In this case, if you check, I just use it to replace what I needed to in cases when I needed to modify it. This 0 here is for when we had a single unit, so in cases where, you know, the format they gave us has to be 2 digits in each cell. So in cases where it was just 1 unit as a result of the division, I wanted to add a 0 to that so that it will still fit in the format that they wanted to. So this is why I returned for this particular string. I used regular expressions here. So what this just represents is I want all the alphanumeric characters that are of size of 2, which is what we have in most cells, and then globally, which means all of them. So I passed in an anonymous function here with the parameter match. So I will now check for every 2-digit representation that is this. I will now replace it with this. Every 2-digit representation that is this, replace it with this. Every 2-digit representation for that particular variable that is this, replace it with this. So if you check down here, that's exactly what I did. So a different scenario, similar concept. If you check here as well, see here, the same idea, the same thought process. Yeah, that was my thinking in all of this. I used the replace method in most of them to fit in exactly what I needed to do. So yeah, this was my thought process to solving this. There are probably much simpler ways of doing this, as I saw with other people's solutions, but basically why I solved this like this is I wrote pseudocode for this solution before I solved it, or rather before I wrote any code, because ideally your pseudocode should solve the problem. So when I wrote the pseudocode, these were my ideas as regards to how to go to the problem, which is why I went about it like this. So sometimes your pseudocode is only structured based on the extent or limitation of your knowledge about the subject. So sometimes your pseudocode can be structured as much as you know about the subject. So you probably see someone who will take fewer lines of code to fulfill the solution, but that's because the extent of that person's knowledge is more advanced, so they know exactly what to do to solve it in far lesser time. So yeah, thank you for tuning into this video today, and hope to catch you on the next one.